Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen to NM Enterprise 7. In an upcoming audio, we're going to talk about a recent baptism of one of my sons, and we're going to get his experience and how the Lord is just moving upon him. But today, though, we're focusing on comments, as you can see from the screen. These are the types of comments at times that I get. So if I'm slow in responding back to you, you can clearly see from the many words that people write that there's a lot going on, okay? So I will get to you when I can get to you. If it is one of those comments that we definitely need to address some real issues, and someone definitely needs some advice, but just random, negative, just downright disrespectful or evil comments, you will not receive any response whatsoever. Those are either filtered out or deleted even before I get a chance to see them. So just wanted to let you know. Now, we are looking at this particular comment from a YouTube viewer as well as listener. She says that she was so glad to find these YouTube videos. To summarize this up, basically, she has a young woman living in her house with her who her son is dating. This young woman was a teenager about 4 years back. She's 20 now. And basically they took her in because they thought that she was being abused. Okay. This woman is starting to show signs that she simply doesn't want to keep a job. She's also being a bit irresponsible because she's not paying people back when she owes them, okay, money, and other things. And so she has also told some lies on different family members, okay? So right now, it's just not looking good. It's not looking good for the young lady who is doing this sort of thing, because if you continue to do this type of stuff, lying, not paying people back, just being just totally irresponsible and just being that child of darkness that you're not supposed to be. If you keep that sort of thing up, then quite naturally it's going to be problems on top of problems. So she's so young to already be doing this sort of thing. But anyway, she's driving this particular listener slash viewer crazy, basically. We're going to read some of what she says, because she's now at that point. This commenter is at that point where she is just fed up. She said that I've raised my kids with work ethic and integrity, but then she came along and undid everything. Now, the thing is that the young lady didn't come along. The woman invited her into her home, okay? And she felt evidently the need to want to help her, okay? She also looked at the benefit of having this young lady around, because in a way it keeps my son, right? It keeps my son close to me. This way I don't have to wonder where he is and what he's up to or what have you. So she's appeasing her son as well. But as we very well know, that in relationships, you are supposed to let people go, right? If I meet someone, you're not to, involve yourself in my relationship. That's my relationship, right? Well, you're involving yourself in a relationship anytime you open up your doors, anytime you sit down with someone, anytime you have them doing something for you, anytime you're asking questions about the relationship or what have you. So this mother involved herself in something from the start, okay? So she didn't just come along, but the doors were open to her. Okay, and so now she's got some freeloading behavior taking place. And as believers, you've got to establish boundaries. You've got to stand up for yourself, and of course, do some things called tough love. They fall under the umbrella of tough love, and we're going to get into some of those things that this mother can do. Now, she says she's scared to put her out of the house, so now fear is starting to govern, this situation. Because I don't want my son to be around her people. They're not good. They do whatever they want to do, and they don't care who they hurt or who they use. I don't know what to do. Now, this is where tough love comes into play, because if you say, no, honey, you cannot stay here. You've got to pack up and go. You got 14 days, 21 days, 30 days to get out of my house. And he follows after her. This is where tough love kicks in. Okay, love you, son, but you're not going to understand where I'm coming from unless you go through some things. So in this particular case, she is going to have to say goodbye, not just to the daughter, but if the son really loves her, of course he's going to follow her. Well, this might be an opportunity for him to step up to the plate. I know 18, pretty young and all that, but he wasn't that young when he started having sex, okay? He wasn't considered all that young when he decided to take on this girlfriend of his, right? And all that comes with her. So since he wants to rush to be a man, and 9 times out of 10, if they keep staying in your house, a baby is on the way. I know that you don't want to believe that, but a baby sooner or later is on the way. This particular situation, one of my relatives was very much involved in. He opened up the doors to the young lady, and the son and the girlfriend decided to have not just one but 2 babies under his roof. Okay. And he was very adamant in the beginning that that wasn't going to happen. She was on birth control and all that. She had her share of issues with her parents, and so both the mother and the father of the boyfriend just wanted to help, but yeah, helping ended up being detrimental to the relationship and to all parties living in the household, because after a while people get sick and tired of attitudes and you're moving my stuff and taking my stuff and bothering me and all of that. So eventually the parents put so much pressure on both son and girlfriend to the point where they had no choice but to move. Okay, so that might be one of those things where you just have to start saying all sorts of things to get her to say, you know what, this is just not working out. I'm going to have to keep my job in order for me to move on and, get a place of my own. Yes, that was the whole plan, you see. And you can do that in so many different ways. Another individual, what she did was she put a lock on her refrigerator. Okay. So that made that person in the household very angry. But hey, you don't pay for the groceries, so therefore you don't eat. And then eventually there was talk about the son moving out. Yes, there are ways to do some things to make life a bit difficult in a household when people don't want to follow rules, when they don't want to adhere to what you are saying, and on and on. Okay, so then she says, every time I try to talk to her, this girlfriend, about growing up, getting her license, keeping a job, getting a car, right? She gets mad at me and avoids me for days on end. So she doesn't like those little life lesson conversations. She doesn't like the tough talk or any speeches going on, apparently. She's very disrespectful towards you. Once again, it is time to say goodbye. I don't like someone living here who's not going to talk to me when they get mad at me. It's not right. My husband and I have supported that girl, bought her clothes, makeup, women's products, and given her money. And then when we tell her she has to get a job and keep it, she shuts down and don't talk to me. Everything you describes her and her family, and I wish my son would just not be in love with her. Well, we can wish upon a star, but young people are going to be young people, and they're going to do certain things until eventually they get tired too. And if she's showing irresponsibility and disrespect with you, sooner or later she's going to do it with your son. It's just a matter of time. He can love her as a person, but as a girlfriend or future wife, I'd prefer he'd find someone else. Yes, that's what you prefer, but at the end of the day, he has to figure that out. Okay, he has to figure it out. Bad mouthing, shunning, acting up, being angry about it all, that's only going to draw him closer to her over time. Okay, I've seen that sort of thing happen. So you got to be the one that you show them, yes, respect, show them how to be, responsible, and just do what's right, because that's the only way some of these young people are going to learn, is that you've got to be that beacon of light. You've got to show, not so much talk, but show, what you are made of. And one thing you are not is a doormat for them. Okay, so you got to make life difficult in the household, more monies towards groceries. If you got to put a lock on the refrigerator, you do something like that. If you got to put a lock on the door, sorry, you cannot retrieve your things until you put in X amount of hours with your job. Then after that, you are going to have to start looking for a place. I will help you in terms of making that happen. You and him, both of you all got to go. Nobody's talking about running over there to the girlfriend's family's house. No, we don't want that, because later on she talks about this family being a racist family and how they will hurt people physically and so forth. So, she's concerned about her son, and she doesn't want anything bad to happen to him. So we're not talking about running from one family to another family. No, these two individuals are going to have to live together, put their money together. They didn't mind putting their bodies together. So you see where I'm going with this, right? On one hand, you probably are not ready to treat this son like an adult, because there's still, probably some things about him that remind you of the, young, youthful, that's my little boy. Well, no, he's doing big boy stuff now, right? He's doing some adult things by, once again, taking this young lady under his wing, even though he's younger and she's older. But still, if he's willing to make these types of decisions and he's so in love, then he should also be the man and get out of mom's house, get his own place. And if somebody gets pregnant, well, guess what? That's over there, right? And he is going to have to step it up. This is what happens when you want to, grow up fast. Okay. There is going to be these types of issues and more, like paying your own bills for starters. So you're going to have to go ahead and not just have the speeches, but you're going to have to back up what you say. All right, and mean what you say, and all parties in the household should be in agreement. I'm sure your husband has some pretty good ideas on how to push these two out. Okay, even though it's going to hurt, even though you're going to cry, even though you're going to spend many nights praying for your child as well as his girlfriend. But this is where it seems to be with this particular situation. Okay. Now, her rearranging your whole house, boxing up clothes, and doing all these other things that you've talked about, well, it looks like she wants to be the woman of the house, right? Because that's usually a part of growing up is, this desire to want to take control over one's space, even if it isn't yours. So that's a sign that, yes, she is ready to get her own place. She can get her own dishes and pots and pans and, set them up in the way that she wants. And you can say all of this in a very nice way. You could be very happy and positive. You could even take her to the stores and just show her, look, these are the dishes that probably would go well in your new house. Or did you ever think about this and that? And she could start buying things for her new place. Yes, do remind her and continue to remind her. And then show them some buildings in the area where they could move. Yes. Look up some resources on discounted apartments, and you can check with the Human Services Department because they're not making that much money. So you can check with the Human Services Department in your area, aka welfare, and they can get themselves some food stamps. Okay, she's old enough. She can get some food stamps, her health care, and all of that can be taken care of. She can also get on Section 8. Yes, we got quite a few things out there that can help people. So that is an answer, many answers to your comments. Does anybody else in the room want to comment, or have I covered everything? Okay.
Most of it is already covered in that explanation. So try to use some of those things. Try to use some of those things in that house just to see how they play out, and just you be the woman of the house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Simply put, and that's coming from an 18-year-old, right? So if you want your son to find a decent girlfriend, you know what to do. You pray about that, because even if they do move out and the relationship doesn't work out, hey, you got freedom, at least from all of the trouble that was going on with them two, or with her and with you, and everything that you've gone through. Well, we will be in prayer. Thank you for leaving the comments. And if anybody else wants to comment, by all means, you are welcome to do that. We're going to move on to another comment in the next audio, and stay tuned.